Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, and we are fired up. Rick at studioUSA with Wayne.
Whoop, there we go.
What's up?
What's up, brother? You ready to
Well,
rock?
in case anybody noticed, we have a full house today.
Yes.
we are setting records across the board. Okay, so we have Dawn, and I'll let you introduce everybody.
This is Wesley,
Hello.
Jelena, and Megan.
Hi.
All right, I feel like my name is super generic. Man, okay. So, welcome, ladies. And you guys are, let's give out the brokerage, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so we are LSW plus Everhart Real Estate Group, and we are with Keller Williams in Prosper and Salina.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're actually, why was I thinking you guys were, okay, so Trophy Club. That's where I saw you last.
That's yeah.
Yeah,
that's
Country
where you
Club.
saw us. Yep.
Tarrant County Country Club. Okay, so the gimmick is we are going to do a little bit of mindset and motivation, and we're going to scroll the wheel here, and GPT is going to randomly give us something, and it will be empowerment.
Ooh.
Oh,
And our-
that is a good one.
We got the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. And that is from Alice Walker.
Okay.
And so
Alice.
for me, right off the bat, that kind of leads right into imposter syndrome and me not thinking that, for whatever reason, not good enough, not smart enough, whatever, and worrying about what other people are going to say. Because like where we're at right now, 6 months ago, this was a barbershop. And so the idea that this would happen, so I've been doing the content and everything, that sort of thing for like 6 or 8 years.
Wow.
But for a long time, when you have no skins on the wall, I don't feel empowered to do anything. I feel like I'm a fake and I'm a fraud. So for empowerment for you guys, so for me, it taps into imposter syndrome right away, but we'll go down the line and what does that mean to you, empowerment?
It reminds me of the other Alice in Wonderland, and the Wicked Witch of the West, or whatever it was, said, you've always had the power, you just had to find it. So I think empowerment sometimes is just tapping back into what we've always had. We just didn't know it was there.
I love it. You cross the streams, though. I think Alice in Wonderland and The Wizard of Oz collided right there.
I noticed
but,
that.
I'll take it. It's a mashup.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, next time we go Alice Cooper, we'll just get totally we'll just hit all the Alices. Yeah, but I love empowerment because that's what pisses me off in the world the most is people not seeing their greatness. So being able to help people see their own greatness and then give them the tools to tap into it.
Oh, yeah. And so
Yeah.
for you ladies, if you didn't know, Wayne is actually a productivity coach in the real estate universe.
Wayne.
Yes.
There we go.
So
they say.
how about you guys? Empowerment.
Okay, so I guess I'm up. For me, empowerment, real estate, as we were talking earlier, is kind of, more of an older person career, if you so to say. So I think originally going into real estate, I was like, okay, can I do this? If it's like if they can do it, why not me? And so I think I just had to empower myself to believe that I can do it, and here we are. And it's been the best decision I've ever made for myself. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes. Just a little pro tip. Yeah. So everybody lean in like so.
Yeah, I think when I think of empowerment, obviously we're a group of 4 girls. I think of women empowerment, right? And I just think that what the 4 of us have been able to do in such a short time. I mean, our group's only been together 7 months.
What?
Yeah, and we are setting some records, and it's like we have the power from all of us, right? Not that we wouldn't ever let men in or anything like that, but it's just amazing to see what the 4 of us as women could really do. And hopefully, like, I have a daughter who's 23, right? So it's like, hopefully she can see what us as older women are able to do, and then it helps her to set goals for herself, right? I mean, we all have girls.
Yeah.
And that it's a good reflection for them to see, like, the sky's the limit. You can
Right
literally
on.
do anything, and we've done it.
Right.
And are doing
So
it.
this sets the table for free plug, and shout out to Michelle Ozimi, my co-host, who will be on Winning Women's Wednesdays. So we're starting that next week. So consider yourselves invited to that at a future Wednesday. So
Awesome.
we'll circle back on that. Let's keep her going.
I think empowerment to me is I started my real estate career when I was 23. I was very young in the game, and now I'm 28, and I feel like I've just made it possible for myself, a life that I didn't expect for myself, and I just hope to empower other young professionals to do the same thing. So that's how I see empowerment as.
Right on.
And same. I mean, they all said it best. Like for me, You know, it's about who you can influence along the way, too. We were up against a lot of odds. I have 2 very young children, and people are like, how are you going to stay home and manage a career? You know, what does that look like? Now you're starting a team. It's like, man, that's a little much, Megan. You know, like, y'all are going crazy. But we all bring something very different. We all set very different examples for people around. You know, like our kids, Jelena, young, very young professional, killing it. Dawn with her daughter, Wesley with her kids. I mean, I want to be an example to my children of what waking up every day looks like, still being able to, you know, be with my kids. I mean, what career can you do that? And show them that you could still be a mom and work this hard and do very well at it at a very high level. So I'm very proud of us. We've worked our butt off to get here and against all odds. And let me tell you, people have been like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And it's just like being here is very bittersweet.
Yeah.
I think, like, too, just empowering alone, knowing that we're moms and we can do this. It's like, it's okay to work and be a mom and have kids.
Right. So now, my curiosity is piqued in the sense of, so like the guys that all work for me, that it's like, so I'm the workaholic bachelor. So it's like,
Bachelor lady.
You don't say.
yeah. Now
The Bachelorette.
my ex-wives might, you know, caution against, but so as the workaholic bachelor, I am at the age where all the guys that work for me would essentially be, they're my strays that I've kind of gathered along the way, but they're all the ones that would be like, I get to be their crazy uncle or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and what I find a lot of times is when they're younger like that, they almost need, it's not as much as it's empowerment as it is, they're looking for somebody to give them permission to do something.
Yep.
You know, whether it's like, oh, you can't be a creative and make money and do that for a
Right.
job. You need to go to a place and do a thing and get a check.
Yep.
You know, so like how you guys see that? It's like as the like sort of the equation being it's part of empowerment to actually realize like I'm allowed, I can do this.
For sure.
And it's, yeah, getting out of your comfort zone, totally. It's like nothing happens without getting out of your comfort zone.
And so, Wayne, what do you think about like just in the coaching world? Like I said, a lot of it has to be with like, no, you're allowed to do like, oh, you can't be a photographer and a video guy, or you can't be, you know, a realtor and a mom. You can't be a coach and a dad, and you can't. And everybody always tries to do this like work-life balance thing or whatever. And it's like, so I just lean into like there is no balance.
I
It's
was
like,
just gonna say that.
right.
There is
Do what
no
works for
balance.
you.
yeah.
You just go with it and you have to pivot along the way. And it's like there is no rhyme or reason. You know, you get up and just keep going and going and going and see what happens.
As evidenced by the way we set everything up this morning, where there was no
Yeah.
rhyme or reason, and everybody. So I love it. So Wayne, what do you think about that? Like as far as like the giving yourself permission or giving
Man, I
others?
think what broke my heart was years ago, and especially when I was teaching Bold on the Road, I'd have people that would come up to me, you know, and a lot of times it was a mom or dad or whatever, and they would go like, I would love to grow my business, but I've decided to be a good parent. And what I heard them saying underneath that was, I can't have both, right? It was like just like I can't make money and be a good dad. I can't, you know, be a good mom and grow a business. And like that broke my heart because I knew that people could, but like you said, they had this limiting belief. So what I teach all the time now is radical unapologetic success. And radical
love
unapologetic success is like, radical means like it's going to be
good.
different, right? Like it's going to be different than what everybody else is doing, right? We saw during COVID, some people are like, I'm taking my kids out of school and we're getting in a van. You know what I mean? Like that was their thing, right? And then like there's all these different ways of doing it. So like radical, like figuring out like it's going to be different for you than it is for other people. And then unapologetic is like, I don't necessarily owe everybody an explanation.
I love that.
Right, like my therapist calls it a 2-sentence response, and one of my therapists, it's a whole tribe. It like takes a village, you know what I mean? But my girlfriend asked me today, she's like, when have you seen your therapist last? I was like, love you, get it. All right, I'm on my way. But my therapist has a 2-sentence response, which is like, you know, we looked at what was best for our family, here's the decision we made, and we're thrilled with it. No more explanation needed, right? Like, here's what we're doing. And then I think success is most people can't define what their version of success actually is. You know what I mean? So it's like, what does it mean? And to y'all's point, I think it's so huge that how many of us are living a tamed life? And you know you're living, we talked about this yesterday, we know you're living a tamed life when I'm telling my kids to do something I'm not doing. Right? It's like pursue your dreams. You can get it, right? Like do what's right
Because
for you.
I
right?
said so.
Right? So, and I see this with moms all the time. This breaks my heart. I think it's mostly, I see it more with moms and dads, but I see all these moms that are telling their kids to go out and be all this and everything else. Meanwhile, they're tampering themselves down, right? And what I tell, the vision I give them is, Imagine your daughter comes to you, 20 years from now, and you're looking at your daughter and saying, man, take care of yourself, pursue your dreams, all this stuff. And she looks right back at you. She goes, Mom, I'm just doing what you role modeled,
Yeah.
which was give up on your dreams to just take care of kids, all that stuff. So that's what breaks my heart.
So like
You
y'all
have
are,
both.
are clearly not living that particular framework.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you guys
don't
are nailing
know. Like, they may not because their kids are younger, but my daughter is about to graduate grad school, right? So she's
Whoa.
23, and it's crazy you said that because my husband was in the military when we married early as newlyweds. I sent him to Iraq, like young. This is like, I'm not even kidding you, right? Our daughter was extremely
That's a
young.
bold move. You're going to Iraq.
I know.
See you in a year.
So,
Have fun.
like, I don't want to hear anybody's excuses that shit is not possible. And so, what's so crazy was I had to stop college and multiple times because I followed my husband in his career. We moved duty bases and everything like that. But then we moved to Texas. And I still had not finished college. And so my daughter's in middle school, and I went back to college because I'm like, I cannot push her to go to college if I myself have not graduated. I mean, her dad has multiple degrees, and here I am, like, with nothing. And how am I going to tell her, like, you're going. I don't care what you say, because that's exactly it. She would look at me and be like, well,
What
you
are you
didn't
doing?
go.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay. Kudos to you for actually having that internal locus of control, where I think Wayne and I deal probably more in the macro, where folks don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And then like the idea of the forward thinking or the second and third order thinking of like, well, of course, everybody would intellectually know, well, do as I say, not as I do is probably not a good long-term strategy.
I agree.
And I mean, that was kind of how, love my whole entire family or whatever. But there was a lot of that. And then the because I said so is like, that was sort of that. Once I was done lawyering, that was the answer because I said so. But like what Wayne said, like no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
As far as like, setting boundaries and things like that. So what do you think about that as far as, so you guys have the striving for the balance, but obviously you've given yourselves permission to be successful, because I find that that's another thing that it's almost like, what did you call it? Outrageously
Radical, unapologetic success.
yeah, radical unapologetic success.
I'll give you a shirt. I have shirts.
Dude, yes, going today. So like
I saw one.
I'm all about the gimmicks. So like my gimmick today is hanging with Dr. Z, which is just this silly ass YouTube thing that I love. But he started selling merch, and I'm like, I'm in.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love
if you
it.
can give me Planet of the Apes and a cartoon shirt,
Amen.
I'm all about it. So the unapologetic success, I love that. And so like, how did you guys, come to that? Because obviously if y'all only been together 7 months, and you're, by the way, shout out to Real Producers Magazine, because that's where these gals came from. So technically they are the Real Producer Spotlight.
Devin actually owns a Real Producers in Alaska. That's
Okay,
nice.
so
How cool is that?
next up,
How cool is that? This is your preemptive
yeah.
shout.
Yes, next up we're gonna go live again, but it's either now
We're double dipping.
we're bad nationwide, to quote ZZ Top from back in the day.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. We're getting all of them.
So, what does that unapologetic success mean to you guys, as far as?
We'll go down the line. Okay, well,
Sucks to be
yeah,
first.
for me, so I went to UNT, I graduated there, and then I started my career in marketing. And then my sister here, I don't know if you guys can tell we look alike, she got her real estate license, and she always convinced me, like, this is what you have to do, kind of next step. And I was like, okay, I'm not ready yet, but me and my husband, we had 2 small children. I ended up becoming a stay-at-home mom. I was pregnant with my second daughter, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get my license now before she's born. That way, having small children, I'm like, it's never going to happen if I don't do it now. Fast forward, I was not planning on activating my license anytime soon, and I meet Dawn. And then my sister's like, hey, we're forming a team. Like, you better get on now or never, kind of thing. And I was like, well, okay, here we go. I don't think I'm ready, but you know what? It's all worked out, and it's the best decision I've ever made, like I said earlier. And I think for me, just knowing that like the timing wasn't what I personally had planned or when I wanted to start. So I kind of had to convince my husband, like, hey, it's going to be okay. We'll figure it out. And yeah, just kind of like a now or never thing.
Yeah.
Love it.
How do you think your kids have done better because of what y'all are doing?
Well, they're 2 and 3, so I don't really know if they know what's going on.
So do you think that they're suffering because you're in real estate? And
No.
If that's too
No.
deep, hit me.
No,
but I
not
mean
at
that's not my
all.
perception. But that's so many people think that that's what's going to happen.
I mean-
so would you say to that mom in a sense?
I mean, I honestly think you have to do what, makes sense for you. Like my life and whatever might not work for somebody else. So, I don't know what that looks like. But for me, it's just realizing that, my kids are my first priority. And it's like if I have to work at night or whatever, it's just you make it work.
Yeah,
Kind
absolutely.
of no excuses, as we were saying.
Yeah, and I think it's such a cool role model to give, right? To be able to do
Absolutely.
both. Yeah.
And the whole thing, so I had lunch yesterday with my nephew, who is an agent at Ebby Southlake. And to this day, one of the favorite stories that I have in that regard is the day. So, like, my brother-in-law, who I love, he's great to my sister and all that, but he has worked at General
We
Motors.
should have a blanket disclaimer that plays before every show, like "Mom, Dad, love you."
Yeah, I love you.
Shout out.
It's basically
Sorry
like,
for what I'm about to say.
yeah, like the small print, and we'll have a crawl that goes around
Yeah.
across. Like, so for everybody that Rick is going to shit on in this
you go.
episode,
Yeah, amen.
totally not personal. But not to shit on my brother-in-law. But he is like if you carved out the poster child, stereotypical like working man, where it's like integrity, go to a place, do a thing always, and put everything, that's him. So, and he's been at General Motors in Arlington. I mean, he's older than me, so he's probably been there, 5 minutes after he graduated high school. So he's been there forever. And the idea of my nephew going into real estate was like,
Freak him out.
yeah. And so one of my favorite stories is my nephew called me whenever he was in the summer of his first year. And he said, I just got off the phone with my dad and told him I made more already this year than I would have if I'd have stayed a manager at Costco last year. It was like, bam, mic drop.
Yeah.
And so did you guys have any kind of weird pushback or anything like that?
Let me tell you.
Give her the microphone.
No. So
He's still in Iraq.
I know. So I started on my own with a different brokerage, which we will just leave their name out of this. Yes. And I took these photos, like my photo shoot or whatever, and I was like, I do not want to be the average agent, right? Like, I don't want to look like every other agent out there. That's not me. I'm not going to wear long suits to the floor or flower dress. Like, I'm just not going to do that, right? So I had these photos done. Really, I thought they were amazing. Used them for my like my business cards and everything like that, and I was like, nothing was coming in. Like, my business cards weren't ordering. They weren't putting me on their website. Weren't doing all this and anything. And I'm like, what is going on? Only to find out that they had created this persona for me in the office and told me that my photos were too provocative and that women would not want to work with me and therefore their husbands would not want to work with me. Would not put me on the website, would not order me business cards. Why are you laughing?
No,
It's
I
all
was just
true.
it's crazy.
I mean, it is crazy.
It sounds bad, but it hurt. Like, they're not provocative in any
Yeah.
way.
No.
Rick and I have the same
I'm
issue.
like-
we get the
Well,
same
that becomes
pushback all
like
the time.
unapologetic about it.
It's
You have to
unapologetic.
be authentic to
Yeah,
yourself,
absolutely.
and if you're not, I
And
don't see.
Exactly. I was like, nope, I'm out of here. Like, you're not going to create this for me. Like, you're not going to just blast me and not even see that people. So it's incredible to see that just a few short years later, right? It's like, oh, actually women do really like working with me, and I am professional, and I'm not, 20 years old. Like, don't create this like persona that I'm going to like steal your husband or something. Like, I've been married 23 years. Like,
He's the best guy ever.
right, and that's one of the reasons how we all formed, and kind of we all had that same mindset. And it was like, we want to stand out. Like, there's 60,000 agents in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yes.
And we are not going to be sorry about who we are, how we do things, how we market ourselves, because we don't want to blend in with everybody.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And the fact that, in what are yours, 7 months or whatever, you all already made the cut for real producers. It's like, having access to the spreadsheet, and I have a license, I don't do transactions. So one of the things with my guys, and it's like, I would love to get all y'all's opinions on this, where we live in a very social media conscious world. And so what that is really, it's a bullshit factory. And so,
Yeah.
like my guys that are out shooting, or they'll see content and they'll be like, and then I get them to be like, what's the dude's name? Or what's her name? And then we look up the numbers. And there's a lot of, so kudos to you for not.
It doesn't reflect.
Yeah. Kudos to you for not wanting to lean into the fakery and to present, because I always tell everybody in the agents that I work with, whenever we're shooting videos or whatever on location, it's like, I want what's on the label to match what's in the can.
Yes.
So then
Exactly.
that way, whenever they meet you,
Yeah.
it's actually who you are. And then,
Right.
because then you're halfway there in the sales transaction. It's like, if they feel like they know you from your content, when they meet you, it's not like, wait, what?
100%.
Very different.
Yes.
And so now, how did you guys do that so fast?
I think we're all like
How did this happen?
crickets.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I think that we just really, I think having each other, I was a solo agent for myself, and when we all came together, just having each other's backs and really being there to support, obviously we're all awesome and we could all probably do it on our own, but just having one another has been like such a vital part to business, the support system that we really have, and we're each other's biggest cheerleaders.
really
And I
are.
think that that's so hard to find in the real estate industry, just because there's a million of us. Like, we're everywhere you turn, and they might say they're happy for you, but like, are they really your cheerleaders? Like, they can clap for you, but then go talk shit about you behind your back. And so I find it like, it's such a valuable thing for us as a team to just really have each other. I'm not saying that that's exactly why we've
Succeeded.
been successful, but it's such a great part to what we have going on.
And I think it's just focusing on our individual strengths. Like, we're all not great at everything, and it's like, okay, well, where do you thrive? Where do you shine? And we really hone in on that.
Okay, now I'm curious. Okay, so what is the breakdown? It's like, okay, so who does what, and who specializes where?
Okay.
Go, man.
Oh, you want me to
Yeah,
say that?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You're up.
Okay, well, if I had to nail it down, that's a big question up front, because I feel like we all are very good at the same thing, but like, okay, we'll start with like you, Jelena. She's everywhere. She doesn't, again, doesn't have kids. She's single. She walks around town, and I swear, anywhere we go, Jelena knows someone. So it's like, she's very good at that. I mean, what would you like, your person? I don't know.
I guess I'm just
You're a little networker.
yeah, I am, but
And she
without
is.
the salesy real estate part of it. I think,
Yes,
yeah.
and I think people like Jelena for Jelena, and she opens up like a whole new world for us of meeting new people, and that is that's one of the biggest things,
That is
know?
the thing.
And she's just very, very good at it. Dawn is a damn bulldog. It's like nothing, like she's very, very good at, like, you can have a conversation with her with another agent, and it's like, oh my gosh, we're getting along so good, everything's so great. But the second that they try to, like,
Pull fast.
pull a little fast thing, like, you wouldn't expect her to be as, like, she's not very nice at the beginning. She's not that you're mean. But and it's an art. She like turns the corner for her client's sake, and it's like, you're not going to do this, you're not going to pull this, and it's like, we don't have to be friends anymore. Like, I have a transaction to get done, and I need to do it ethically in the right way.
So the old adage of don't mistake kindness for weakness.
Yeah.
And that's
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
she's very, very good at that. I mean, it's a very good art that I think Dawn does, and I notice that on the phone with her all the time, and I'm like, I think that's one of the biggest things too.
Meanwhile, they're like, this bitch is crazy.
No,
They're texting each other without me. Like,
We are not. We tell her to her face.
Don't underestimate the power of that, by the way, because I guarantee you, all my guys are like, "What is his fucking like we're like, what
but
is up
that's
with
good
that?"
because at the end of the day, too, you have two agents. It's like you can be like friends and stuff like that, but you still have a job to do to protect the client that you're representing, and that can get real sticky in between.
Yeah, and you're not going to get referrals if you get steamrolled.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have one job, and it's to get to the closing table. And it's like, there's so many things that looks like. Wesley is our little marketing guru. She comes from a background of, of what is it, a Fortune 500 marketing company.
What?
And her level of knowledge of how to target and how to create sticky material where people are reaching out and what are you guys doing? I mean, people that have been doing this for 30-something years are like, I can't even get over, y'all's platform, what you're doing. And that really is all Wesley.
Well, and I think with that, we knew from the beginning that we wanted to build something that was us. It's not like, hey, we work for a brokerage, yes, but we always wanted to build our own brand. And from the beginning, we were always like, what does that look like? And that's kind of how we built it.
Well, and I think we need to seriously thank Keller also. Like, our office is so incredible because obviously Keller Williams is red and white, right? They really allowed us to brand ourselves with them being our broker. So like our colors are more like brown, black, cream, stuff like that.
Okay.
And all of our marketing that we do is within our colors, our logo, and they really allow us to break away from Keller and still support. I mean, like, so we can create our true
Our
own
brand.
persona and our own brand.
Okay, well that's cool, and like
Yeah.
that would not have been my knee-jerk reaction to Keller Williams as
Yeah,
they broke.
I know.
So kudos to them for being forward-thinking on that.
Yeah.
And then, so for you guys now, what's next as far as what's the next hurdle? What's the next? So like now that you're empowered, what's next?
Take it all.
We're coming for all of you.
No, I mean,
I love the modest approach.
I mean,
Let's go.
we're not in this just to twiddle our thumbs and look pretty. I mean, we mean business and we thrive on that. We like to travel. We have expensive taste. That does not come just sitting, curling your hair and putting on, lashes and lipstick. I mean, you have to work your butt off. It's
Yes.
like that song Britney Spears. I don't know. I'm like scared to cuss on here. I don't know what I'm allowed to say or what I'm not.
no,
But
feel free. Feel free.
She wants to work.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine.
But I think we want to be better than we were last year. We always want our goals to continue to increase. Like, we don't ever want to settle for what we did last year. Like, we don't want to be a, one-hit wonder, right? Like, ever. And so it's like, whether we build other platforms, whether we start opening our own management company and do rentals, or, I mean, just anything, right? The sky is the limit. Do a lot more commercial. I mean, there
Make our
really
team
is-
bigger.
Make our team bigger.
Yes.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think
Dude.
last year, and being together for such a short period of time, we did a couple events and we did some things, and we're still figuring out what works for us and what doesn't. And it's been such a learning experience. And like she said, the sky is the limit for us, and how we just adjust and pivot. And we have different things for this year planned than we did last year. And
Love
Well,
it.
and we've
Gonna
had
be
a
great.
lot of humbling moments too.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't always, it's not rainbows and butterflies every day. Like, there's been tears of freaking out, like, oh my gosh, did I mess up? Like, what is this going to look like? And to be able to have a group that can pick you back up from a different perspective is honestly priceless. I mean, a lot of humbling experiences. And I think that helps you
Oh my
a
God.
lot.
Yeah, the humility. There's a difference between being humiliated and gaining humility.
Yeah.
But
We've had both.
Who hasn't when you're,
yeah.
That's a book. That's
Oh
a
yeah.
series.
Yeah. That's a year-long excursion down that rabbit hole. But man, I just want to say. So I'll let Wayne if he has any other questions or any thoughts or curiosities. But man, y'all got me fired up. And it's like I had no idea that y'all were like just that
Awesome.
new as a group.
Yeah.
So kudos to that.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love it. One word of advice for brand new agents out there. What would each one of you say? Brand new young mom agent. What's the one snippet of advice you'd give them?
One.
you
One.
can start, Megan. Go ahead.
Wow.
y'all are just, man.
You can't make eye contact. You gotta look down until So you
Like,
wanna
where
answer.
am I
Well, it's funny you say that because we do. When we were talking about empowerment earlier, I think it's interesting, and this says it all, is that how many girls do reach out to us. Like, we want to get our license. What do you think we should
Yeah, I
do?
love that.
And I think that speaks volumes. It's like, obviously they see, and we are the forefront of being able to have those conversations. And it's just like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Because it looks different for all of us. I mean, do you want to be successful, or do you kind of want to just stroll through, make a couple extra, dollars for your family, you get to decide that.
Yeah.
I am the type of person, I don't like working for anyone. I did pharmaceutical sales before this. I was working till 8, 9 at night. And I'm like, at what point is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? I want to be able to be my own boss, and everybody could do that in this. You don't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah.
If that's what you like, if you want to be with your family, if you want to, travel the world, like Julian, it's like you get to decide what that looks like and write your own book, but you have to work for it.
Yeah.
You
And
need to
decide
do
what
the work.
success means for you. So you say start off by deciding what does success actually look like.
Right.
to you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you
And then go
have
from
to
there.
do that.
That
or
is
you
so
won't.
in Wayne's wheelhouse. That is.
I love it.
I mean,
All
but
right,
you
what
have
about
to you could tell everyone every day, go get your license at this place.
Yeah,
and
no,
did you know
no.
80% of agents that get their license in the
Yeah.
first 2 years do not renew?
Yeah, it's
because it
huge.
is that
It's massive.
hard.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and I think also having like a mentor. I think everyone
Oh,
needs
that-
somebody.
See, thank you for this is why we need each other,
There you go.
you know?
Yeah, I think having a support system and just people who are seasoned in the industry is the biggest thing for me personally. So
Yep.
I think for myself and to my clients is just be yourself and be authentic. Don't try to be something that you're not. Be honest and be super trustworthy, because that will come back to you tenfold.
Live long,
Even when
Yep.
people don't always do a transaction with you, I had a client, they still haven't bought a house, but they've referred me to like 5 other people because I was like, this house is not worth this
Right.
price, and there
Yeah.
was multiple offers on it and all this crazy scenario, and I was just like, you're not going to get what you want in return for this house with the plan that you've given me. So I think that that he's referred me like 5 other clients, and
Love
it
that.
always comes back
Yeah.
tenfold. So be trustworthy, be somebody that you would want to work with, and
Like that.
So good.
just
more
Yeah.
than about
So
the
figure out
money.
what success
it's
is,
not
get a
about
the
coach.
money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do-
I
play
mean,
the long
I would,
game.
like, I
All
would
right,
literally
Bulldog,
just
give us your
say-
last piece of wisdom. What do you got?
You
All right,
better
Bulldog,
work.
what do you got? Better work. I love that.
That's it.
Right
That's a
on.
good way to end.
Yes.
My
That's it.
favorite was get a mentor and a coach. That was my favorite piece of
Yeah,
advice.
that's
Yeah.
like
The other ones were good too.
Yes.
But yes,
Sorry.
yeah, 3 gold stars, and we'll share the
Yeah,
rest.
and then a B plus.
Yeah, B plus.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So
That's
that is
awesome.
it. I am officially fired up.
Ooh, me
And let's
too.
do this again.
Well, we'll
And
sell house.
y'all are officially invited for Winning Women's Wednesday.
Got it.
And with that, we will have Peter close us out